So the kids are gone. And the house is quiet in a way it never used to be. You walk past the bedroom, that's just a room now. The yard that made sense when you had a trampoline and a dog and a rotating cast of teenagers is now a Saturday you don't get back. It's too big, friend. Too many rooms nobody walks into, too much upkeep for a life that has already changed. And everybody in your life keeps selling you the fun part. Oh, you'll be closer to everything, restaurants, walkable, less yard. Like that's the thing that's keeping you up at night. It's not. Can we be honest for a second? Here's what's actually keeping you up at 2 a.m. What if we do this? We downsize and we get it wrong. And then we have to do the whole thing all over again. Everybody sees the fun version of this move, and almost nobody sees the fear. Friend, I see the fear. And I'm about to tell you why I see it so clearly, because I have lived it. Hi, I'm Krista Powell, Atlanta Realtor with eXp Realty, and on this channel, Atlanta Real Estate Insider, I make sure you know what the listing is not telling you. Today, we're talking about the move nobody prepares you for, the empty nest right size. Moving from the big suburban house closer into Atlanta and how you do it once instead of getting trapped into doing it twice. Now, before we get into it, listen, the move twice mistakes. A lot of them don't even start on the buying side, they start on the selling side. Mispricing the family home, moving in the wrong order, leaving equity on the table that you needed for the next place. So I put my Atlanta home seller checklist at the link below. It walks the pricing and the prep for the house you're leaving, so the money is right when you go to the right size. It's free. It's the exact checklist I use with my own sellers. Grab it now. Okay, let's get back to it. This is the reframe. The first thing I need you to hear, because it changes everything, right sizing is not the same as downsizing. Downsizing is a number, right? Smaller, cheaper, less. And when less is the only goal, that's exactly how people cut too deep and regret it. Right sizing is different. Right sizing means matching your house to how you actually live now. Not how you lived 15 years ago with a full house, how you live today. And here's where I watch people get it wrong. They get so excited to shed square footage that they cut things they'll miss. So let me give you both sides, because your girl always gives you pros and cons. What are downsizers almost always glad they let go of? The acre of grass, the stairs. Oh, your knees will thank you. The formal living room that basically became a museum of furniture nobody sat on. And good riddance. That's the freedom part, and that's real. But here's what they regret cutting: the guest room. Because the adult kids are going to come back, and one day maybe they're going to be grandkids. And we'll just put them on the couch gets old real fast. And enough storage that less stuff doesn't turn into I have nowhere to breathe. And a spot to host, because you're the one who does Thanksgiving and you know it. So the question isn't how small can we go? The question is what actually fits our life today? Because a house that's too small for how you really live is just a different kind of trap. Okay, so the next one is the single biggest reason empty nesters end up moving twice. So take note of this one. You make the move, you get in town, and month one, it just feels wrong. The walls are closer, the street sounds different at night, you miss the quiet, and a little voice goes, oh no, we went too far, we made a mistake. Listen to me, friend. 9 times out of 10, that feeling is not too small, that feeling is unfamiliar. And 2 things can feel identical in month 1, but one of them fixes itself in 90 days and the other one costs you a second move. So how do you tell the difference before you buy, when it actually matters? I say it all the time to my buyers. You test drive. On this channel, we say date the neighborhood before you marry it. That means don't decide off a Saturday afternoon tour when the farmer's market's out and everybody's at brunch and it's all charming and cute. Go on a rainy Tuesday. Go at 7 a.m. Go at 10 p.m. Sit in the actual Atlanta traffic, because it's a thing, you know it, and sit in the real traffic that you'd actually sit in. And see if the walkable street is walkable to the stuff you care about, or just walkable in the listing photos. And here's the move most people don't think of: a midterm rental. Rent furnished in Decatur, or Midtown, or Vinings for a season before you commit. You're looking at roughly $2,000 a month in these areas, and I promise you that is the cheapest insurance policy on the planet against a six-figure mistake. You get to find out if smaller is actually wrong, or just before you sign anything you can't just undo. I go deeper on the whole test drive framework in my buyer blueprint, but that's a conversation for when you're ready to talk about landing spots. For today, just hold on to this. Too small and just unfamiliar are not the same thing. Don't let a hard month one talk you into a second move. And this is coming from someone who has moved many times. Part of what I've loved to do in this life is see the world. And it means I've lived places and learned this lesson myself. Now let's do the part that nobody wants to do, but everybody needs. Now let's do the part nobody wants to do, but everybody needs, the money. Because math people become clients. And if you're still with me, you're doing the math in your head right now. I see you. So here's the good news, and it is genuinely good. If you bought in a strong suburban school zone, you've probably been paying a premium for those schools for years. Schools your kids have now lovingly aged out of. That premium is sitting in your house as equity. And for a lot of right-sizers in our corridor, that equity is exactly what funds the move closer in. But, and here's the con to the pro, the order you do this in is everything. Sell first or buy first is not a coin flip, especially with rates still sitting up in the 6.3, 6.5% range. Carry two houses and you're bleeding money every month. Sell first with nowhere to land and you're panic buying, which is, surprise, surprise, how people end up moving twice. And timing has teeth here because suburban homes and in-town homes are not sitting on the market for the same number of days. That gap, how fast the house you're leaving moves versus how fast the house, that gap, how fast the house you're leaving moves versus how fast the place you want gets snatched up, that gap is the exact crack the two-move trap crawls through. And this is where I tell every seller the same thing. You don't need drama, you need a closing in the right order. That's the whole game. Now, I want to tell you why I don't talk about any of this like it's a textbook. Listen, I've moved across states. I've moved across the world more than once. I'm not the realtor who read about this in a relocation guide. I'm the person who has stood in a house full of boxes in a place that looked absolutely perfect on paper and thought, did I make the right decision? I know that very specific dread personally. I have restarted from scratch multiple times, wondering if the thing that felt right on the tour was going to feel right on a regular Wednesday. That is not a fun fact about me. That's the whole reason I do this job the way that I do it. Because I would so much rather slow you down for one season, make you go date the neighborhood, make sure you get the sell order right, make you keep the guest room, than watch you unpack, feel the 2 a.m. dread, and have to call a mover all over it. So I have another story for you, and this is a blend of a few different clients. So I had a seller. Let's call her Denise. 5-bedroom, out in the burbs, gorgeous house. And the second her youngest left for college, she and her husband wanted out immediately because they were over the yard and the commute into Atlanta to go do stuff, done. And she was like, perfect. We're going to get a cute little in-town condo. And I slowed her down. I made her do a midterm rental first. It was a challenging conversation, but I've made people do this. 3 weeks in, she called me. She said they missed having a second bedroom more than they ever expected. Her daughter was already talking about coming home for the summer. And if she bought that 1 bedroom in a hurry, second move guaranteed. Instead, we found something bigger, a 3-bedroom. She moved once and she will still text me about it. I ran into her the other day. There's one person I can think of in particular. Every time I see them, they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. We're so glad we came here. Because it matters enough to slow down. And so that's the difference between downsizing and right-sizing. That's the difference a season of patience makes. So here's where I'll leave you. If you're sitting in a house that's bigger than your life is now, the only thing scarier than staying put is the fear of getting the next move wrong. You don't have to figure out the order alone. Grab the Atlanta home seller checklist at the link below. Start with the house you're leaving, what to fix, what to skip, what it's really worth. And when you're ready, book a free strategy call. We'll map the whole thing in order, the sell, the land, and the order to do it in so you only move once. Because the goal was never to be dazzled by a cute condo on a pretty street. The goal is to be informed. Thanks for watching, friend. I'll see you next time. And always, always make sure you know what the listing is not telling you. Strategy, not stress.